And go. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the future of the water and wastewater industry and the careers you didn't know about. And I'm your host, Dave Kosminski, and we are on location this afternoon at the Connecticut Waterworks Fall Conference. And we've got a special guest with us, ladies and gentlemen, who came down from the great state of Massachusetts, Boston, Beantown, Dr. David Cash, who is basically the EPA administrator. Fantastic. Doctor, thank you so much for being on.
It's fantastic to be here.
Fantastic. So your presentation was great and fantastic. And basically the whole premise of this podcast, as you know, we are in the water industry, and not just the water industry, but in a lot of industries, due to attrition and retirements and so forth, finding problems in getting staff. So I don't know if you've saw that in your efforts up in Boston and so forth. So tell me a little bit about your day job.
All right. Well, as the administrator for EPA New England, that's the 6 New England states and the 10 federally recognized tribes, I'm lucky enough to work with an incredible staff. It's about 600, a little over 600 staff who work both in Boston and at our lab in Chelmsford. And, oh my gosh, we work on climate change. We work to assure that communities have clean water. We are working to make sure that they're clean electric school buses in school districts all over New England. We work to protect wetlands. The efforts that we make are so critically important to communities all over New England who want to have clean water, who want to have clean air, who want to be able to do recreation in ponds and streams and the ocean. So it's just, and my job is just varied and interesting and exciting. It's great to come down from Boston to Connecticut to talk with those people who make sure that, as I said in my talk earlier, that when you turn on the tap in your house, you're assured that your water is going to be clean and safe and healthy.
Exactly.
And sort of as you mentioned, we're in the middle of a big hiring boom right now. There's a lot of federal legislation that's driving new programs, and we also have a workforce that's retiring. And so just an incredibly exciting time. And EPA is a fantastic place to work. It's great community, great mentoring, great federal benefits. But I think what really attracts people to working at EPA is the mission.
Okay.
Yeah. And so if you're out there and you're thinking, I want to use skills that I learn to protect my community, to make sure that people can drink clean water, to try to save the world from climate change.
Sure.
This is the kind of place that you might want to work. Now, the industry itself, obviously, the water and wastewater industry is so vitally important, right?
Yes.
I think a lot of people take for granted in New England, in Connecticut, that when you turn on the tap, your water's clean, but that's not true. And the only reason it's true is because they're really dedicated, smart people who are working at public water utilities and making sure that that the infrastructure is working. And that's true for EPA too. So, you have an engineering background, a science background, a public policy background, a communications background, even an accounting, numbers back. All of those jobs are important, right? Because any of our grant programs, they have to be done with integrity and with smarts from an accounting perspective. So, we have inspectors that go out to inspect systems. We have folks who go to collaborate with cities and towns who are trying to figure out how to get lead pipes out of the ground. So it's an incredibly dynamic place to work, and we are hiring. Go to usajobs.gov. And there you can find out what's on the EPA's hiring agenda.
Well, one of the things I communicate to a lot of my students and guidance counselors and so forth, that umbrella, that basically the water and wastewater industry comes under. There's a vast array, a plethora of jobs. Like you say, you've got engineers, you've got operators, you've got construction people, you've got HR people, you've got accountants. The list goes on and on. You've got meter readers. you've got customer service people. So basically those are jobs that are a vital part of the industry, and not only are they good jobs, but they're secure jobs. These jobs aren't something that you can outsource across the pond.
That's exactly right.
You need boots on the ground to fix the pipes, to run the plants, to make all of that happen. And like you say, a lot of times people take for granted, when they turn on the faucet, they get clean potable water out.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Exactly right.
And so forth. So, your career path, how just take us back, just to rewind just a few years. Okay, graduating high school into college. How did you arrive at the career path that you're on?
Well, I was a biology major in college. Always was very interested in science, and my first career was teaching science. Mm-hmm. So after I left college, I eventually taught science, and I became more and more interested in environment and environmental policy during that time, and went back to get a graduate degree in public policy. And I was always interested in government. I didn't want to be an academic.
Okay.
And I was lucky enough. I had an internship at the White House in the mid-'90s.
And what administration was that?
This was in the Clinton administration.
I see. Okay.
And I was working on climate change and biodiversity on an international level. I was working with a wonderful mentor who guided me through that. That was fantastic, but it gave me the bug. It gave me the government bug. Wow, here's a place where I can contribute to making people's lives better.
Yeah.
And when I finished my degree, I started looking for jobs, and I was lucky enough to land a job in the Massachusetts state government under Governor Mitt Romney.
Okay.
And I worked on a wide range of climate and air pollution and waste management issues there, and then was lucky enough to stay when Deval Patrick became governor.
Okay. Yeah.
And I bumped up to a more senior position. And it was that 8 years where I had a range of different positions that I worked on: climate and energy and forests and salamanders, and it was just phenomenal. And I traveled all over the state and met with people who they want clean air, and
Sure.
they want clean water. And this was at a time where investing in climate change, in clean energy, made people kind of nervous. And yet we would talk to someone who had just put a solar panel on their roof, and they'd be like, "Oh my goodness, I didn't pay a bill. I didn't pay an electric bill last month."
Oh my gosh.
And then their neighbor says, "So, hey, what's going on?" And they want it, and they want it. And we're at that moment where clean energy costs are coming down so fast,
Yes.
right? So then I left state government, and I was at UMass Boston for about 7 years, working at the policy school. And then when President Biden and Vice President Harris came in, I was so excited about their agenda, so excited that they were really going to focus on climate change in a really powerful way and center everything in environmental justice.
Nice.
Figuring out how to do our regulations and our policies and our investments in ways that brought the most disadvantaged communities up.
Wow.
And provided for them clean air, clean water, jobs, green jobs, all of those kinds of things. So it's just been incredible. And I mentioned this in the talk earlier, and so I'll take us full circle. Did I mention we were hiring?
I think you did.
We're hiring.
They're
we're
hiring
hiring in an awesome community. I mean, the people I am lucky enough to work with at EPA, many who have been there for decades and decades, are just dedicated and smart and love to work as a team and are mission driven. And so it's a phenomenal place to work. And I just this morning on my way driving here, I called a staff member who was retiring, just to thank her. 34 years she'd been working for EPA. And just to think of that kind of dedication is just incredible.
Nice. Now, if you were to give advice to a high school senior, college freshman about possible careers, what advice would you give?
I'd say try things out.
Yeah.
Do internships.
Okay.
Do a summer internship. Do a school year internship. And just try different things out. That's what I did.
Yeah.
I did some field biology at a national park when I was in college because I thought I might want to do that.
Yeah.
And I hated it.
Yeah.
So that was great.
Yeah.
I worked at a veterinarian's office because I thought that's what I might want to do. I didn't like that. Perfect. check that off. Cross that off. Don't need to go there.
Yeah.
So, find explore and experiment with different opportunities that you have.
Yeah, I think one of the things in my water class that I started in high school, basically, we did macroinvertebrants. We did Project Wet and got a lot of that. But it's amazing some of the interest that students had. I've had a couple of students now that's working in Maine that's hatching lobsters. And so forth. It's that pinwheel of spokes going out to different facets of the industry.
I mean, protecting the environment and human health and doing it in a way that's about justice and equity. There's so many jobs, like you were talking about, like I was talking about. So follow your passion and find something that you can advance that passion that you have and explore.
Yeah, exactly. So, on a personal note, what do you like to do for hobbies?
Oh, well, I'm definitely an outdoors person.
Okay.
So, I love hiking. I love swimming. I love boating.
Okay.
And I get a lot of pleasure out of that. And I love doing that with my family, and I love doing that with friends.
Nice. Well, basically, my origin, I'm basically graduated. My degree's in music.
Oh, okay.
In fact,
how'd you get here?
It's amazing. I started working through high school. Okay, and I had a job with the water department, and and then going through college, I came back and worked summers for the water department. And at the time, they were, if I worked 20 hours a week, they would give me my full-time benefits. Now, when I graduated high school, because all of my money went to Boston, both of my kids, Berkeley College of Music, BU, the whole 9 yards.
Sure.
Okay, so we had an administration that got in, and it says, well, either you're working full-time or no time. And at the time, my wife was pregnant with our first child, and I says, well, I think I'm going to work full-time for a couple of years. So January 4th, I'm marking my 50th year.
That's incredible.
So it's
wow.
But I still kept my music. We own a music store, so I have a lot of musical interests. So spinning that off, if you got stuck on a desert island, what kind of, and you had to pick 5 albums to listen to,
my goodness,
what would you listen to?
Of course, if our listeners are of the age of that we're shooting for, they don't know from albums. It's like Spotify. What are the Spotify playlists?
I know.
Yeah. All right. So the Spotify. I'm an old time fan of the Beatles.
There
so
you
certainly
go.
That blues.
Blues. Any specific album on the Beatles? White Album? Rubber Soul?
Yeah, no, probably Abbey Road.
Okay, there you go.
There.
All right.
And blues, I love the blues. I play a little bit of blues harmonica.
Nice.
So I love that. And then this to mellow out, some nice, classical Baroque.
Nice.
No words. Not a fan of opera.
Fantastic. Yeah. Okay, that's all right. All right. Desert island food. What would your desert island food be?
So is this to survive, or like if I only had one kind of sushi? I love sushi.
Sushi, sushi and pizza are really high on the the questions list. Awesome, fantastic. So, David, thank you so much for coming.
My pleasure. Thank you,
and
David, for having me here.
And Mikayla's here, and Mikayla, I would like to see how you got into the industry, if that's okay with your boss. Because
absolutely,
that's a part of the job, that's behind the scenes. And Kayla's been basically David's assistant and takes pictures and so forth.
So she's on the communication team and writes all kinds of things and drives kind of strategically what we're going to be doing in terms of communications and events. It's just awesome. So why don't I hand you your
come on over here,
headphones.
Mikayla.
There you go. I know, unplanned.
There we go. Surprise. So, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Well, thank you so much for being part of doing what you do. So tell me about your day job.
Sure.
Working with this fantastic boss.
Yes. I get to do a lot of exciting things because I work in David's office. Yeah. So obviously we're down in Connecticut today. We do a lot of events, traveling, things like that. I work on the communications team, so I do press releases, media relations, stuff like that. but it's nice to get out here and out of Boston.
Nice.
Because our office covers all the New England states.
Well, and that's what, trying to get across to my students, you're under that water umbrella, water, wastewater, environmental umbrella.
Yep.
And, people wouldn't think that, communications, press releases and all that kind of stuff, but that's a vital part of the industry.
It definitely is. Yep.
Not to mention to be able to travel, and meet some fantastic people. This is the thing. So tell me how your career trajectory came out of school.
Sure. I heard you say your daughter went to BU.
Yes, she did.
I'm also a BU alum.
Okay.
I was in the College of Arts and Sciences, and I was a environmental analysis and policy major.
Okay.
Yeah, so not necessarily communications, but how I got into communications was I had an internship at the Department of Energy's Wind Energy Technologies office.
Okay.
And then that kind of sparked my love for government work.
Okay.
I like the mission and everything. So after that, I actually went to the Peace Corps.
Okay.
Yep. And I was an agriculture volunteer in Panama.
Okay. What was the impetus that made you want to join the Peace Corps? It's funny because I had a couple of students that wanted to do the Peace Corps, and I said, why would you want to do that?
Yeah. No, I think it's just coming back to the mission that we have at EPA, honestly.
Okay.
It's just like doing something outside of yourself and helping others, and experiencing different cultures, getting to know different people. That was really sort of why I wanted to go. And, if we could help and impart some of knowledge that we have onto them and help improve their community, that was really exciting for me.
Wow.
Yeah.
And so you got out of there and then went to work for EPA, or?
I did. Nice. Yeah. We got evacuated due to COVID.
Oh, yes.
Yep. So I unfortunately ended my time early, but then I applied immediately to EPA pretty much and was so happy when I got the offer to come work here. I've been here for about 3 years now.
Nice.
Yeah, it's just been such an awesome place to work. Mm-hmm. The people that you work with, the work that you do, it's really fulfilling.
Sure. Okay, so your advice to a high school senior or a college freshman, what would you say?
My advice. I guess my advice would be kind of similar to David's, like try different things. I obviously kind of had a little bit of a interesting path. But yeah, I think when you find something you're passionate about and you follow it, I'm very passionate about the environment. Mm-hmm. So just finding that connection would be my advice. And, take advantage of the opportunities that, your school offers, your community offers, your college offers. Just get involved because you can meet a lot of different people that way and kind of find your path.
Absolutely. That's great. It's fantastic. Okay, so going on to my personal questions, what do you like to do for hobbies?
I love the beach when it's warm.
There you go.
That's one of my favorite things to do. Spend time with friends, go to museums. We're lucky we're in Boston. There's kind of a lot of stuff to do.
So much culture. Yes, exactly. So what beaches do you frequent?
Well, okay. So I'm originally from California. So I'd definitely probably say over there are my favorite beaches. But
okay.
Yeah.
Huntington Beach,
Yeah, yep. My dad actually grew up there. That's pretty near where I'm from. So yeah.
Okay.
No, Treasure Island and Laguna Beach.
Yep.
Places like that. Yeah.
Some great weather out in the Pacific. That's
yes.
Sure. Okay. All right. So desert. Obviously going to my music questions. What's your? I tell you. Do you remember the first concert you attended?
Yes, I do.
Okay. What was it?
I went to the 1975. I think it was in 2014. It's kind of like a rock sort of band.
Okay.
Yeah, they're still really popular today. I really
Nice.
like their music.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay. So your Desert Island. Okay, I'm going to date myself, David. Your Desert Island album. If you got stuck on a desert island, what music could you listen to, or what albums would you have?
I really liked this band called the Arctic Monkeys.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You like them too?
Yeah.
Yeah. No. So I love their older albums, but I think my favorite album is actually AM, which is one of their newer ones.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah.
Desert Island food.
Oh, I
What do you
think I
think?
have to say sushi too.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
Sushi is, goes with everything.
Yeah.
And so forth. Fantastic. All right. Mikayla, thank you so much for, I know we
you.
kind of hoodwinked you into stepping in here. David's over there laughing. So anyway, that's fantastic. Well, thank you. And take care of this guy, man. He's a great guy. So fantastic.
Thank you.
All righty. Fantastic. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that concludes this episode of the Future of the Water and Wastewater Industry and the Careers You Didn't Know About. And we had our special guest, Dr. Dave Gates from EPA, and also we have his assistant, Miss Mikayla Rumph, okay, who is basically David's handler, so to speak. So thanks so much, and we'll see you on the next episode. Thank you.